So you're ready to build wealth, and you've heard the answer is in stock investing, but you've got some questions. Where do I start? How do I keep my money safe? Well, I sat down with Darius Smith from wealthismyworth.com to answer your burning questions. This is a guide on stocks for beginners.
What kind of stock should a beginner investor buy?
So for a beginner investor, again, I'm always going to still go with things that you know. There's two things that you know, but then also look at necessities. So I'm gonna start with things that you know. Right now, it's 2023. We're in the age of technology. We're in the age of information. We're in the age of advertising. Literally anything and everything that you do has advertising on it. So with that being said, look at how companies are making their money and decide if the trend of where the world's going and where the economy is going, if that's going to be more valuable 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or if it's going to be less valuable 5 or 10 years from now. And I say 5 or 10 years because you definitely want to have a long-term outlook on whatever you're investing your money in. So for example, in the technology area, and we're talking about how information and attention and advertising are super important. Companies like Google are always advertising. This is how they make their money. So I believe it's the ABC company on if you're investing, the Alphabet company is on their ticker symbol.
It's still a GOOG.
Is it? And
Yeah.
they just changed the
It's Alphabet, but it's still GOOG, and then GOOGL for Google A shares.
Got it. Okay. So that ticker symbol is, the way that they make their money. So that's just one example when it comes to like information, advertising, etc. That's going to continue to grow. There's no attention is going to be, more and more valuable, especially as things change in the world. I don't know if people are familiar with things like Apple and Google are taking away, they're changing the privacy laws in America, and they're not sharing information as much. So now we're gonna have to figure out different ways to advertise. We're not gonna be sharing information with companies or with people online. So this is like one of those factors that changes things, and you have to decide if you think that's going to increase Google's market share or you think it's going to decrease. Going back to technology, if you look at companies like Shopify is like the host for a huge percentage of the websites that we all shop on. They get a portion of some sales, and they have monthly fees and things for all these different stores. That's a great example of technology that's going to continue to grow over time. I'm going to try to give one more very common technology example, and we'll just easily go with like Amazon. Like Amazon, how do they make their money? And another thing about like looking into how people make their money, like you might know how they make their money, but I would look it up. Amazon makes their money not only from Amazon.com through the retail and selling products and selling other people's products, but actually Amazon Web Services, or AWS, is a huge portion of, actually I would say the majority of the portion of where Amazon makes their money. And this is a web services. This is technology. This hosts all of practically most of the internet. There are competitors like Google Cloud and some other Microsoft services as well. But regardless, AWS is how Amazon is making their money. So when you find out these kind of things and you realize that a large portion of the internet is ran from these servers, you'll realize that this is going to grow. This is necessary. We're not just going to drop the internet. So those are like a couple of name dropped companies that I invest in, and I would suggest people to invest in. But I would suggest more so that you do some research, learn about it, and go the technology route. So technology is one area that I think is going to grow over time, something we're all familiar with. On the other side is like the necessities, things that we absolutely need and we can't go without. One example of this is healthcare. There's nothing stopping everyone can't be healthy. Healthcare is going to continue to be mandatory in this country and every country in the world. So this is somewhere that I feel pretty safe about. I think it grows historically. If you look at most healthcare companies, look back 1 year, look back 5 years, and then look at today. Maybe not the market shares grow, but the value of the stock has grown. Food companies, absolutely necessary. An example of something that was necessary, but you got to always watch, like with the economy and what the world is doing, is like oil companies. Oil companies produce gas, and gas is usually consumed by heating, by gasoline cars and things like that. As the world starts making more electric vehicles, that's something that you would probably consider if you're before going into the oil industry, as far as where you're investing your money at. So just literally keeping an eye on what the world is doing, what the changes are, and investing based off of the information that you know is like the top strategy that I would say people should keep in mind when investing that 20%.